I was sitting in church that Sunday morning holding my wife's hand, thinking about how blessed I was. Lauren looked beautiful in her navy dress, smiling at the pastor's words about faithfulness. We were the golden couple everyone admired. Then a woman I had never seen before stood up in the middle of the service, pointed directly at Lauren, and screamed one word that shattered everything: homewrecker. The entire congregation went silent. I thought she was insane. I had no idea that woman's rage was about to flip my entire world upside down. Before I tell you how everything unraveled, I want to know, where are you watching from? Drop your location in the comments. And if you have ever had someone destroy your trust, hit that like button. Subscribe, because this story gets darker than you would imagine. Now let me take you back to how it all started with what I thought was just another perfect Sunday morning. My name is Bryant. I am 32 years old, and up until that morning I thought I had life figured out. I worked as a marketing manager at a mid-sized tech company in Austin, Texas. The job was demanding, sure, but it paid well enough for Lauren and me to afford a nice house in the suburbs. I traveled for work sometimes, maybe 2 or 3 days a month, but nothing excessive. I was hardworking, loyal, and I trusted people easily. Maybe too easily. Lauren was 30. She had long blonde hair that caught the light just right, green eyes that sparkled when she laughed, and a smile that could light up any room. She worked as a real estate agent and was incredibly successful at it. She made more money than I did, actually, which never bothered me. I was proud of her. She was warm, caring, and deeply involved in our church community. Lauren volunteered as the coordinator at Grace Community Church, organizing events and helping newcomers feel welcome. Everyone loved her. We had been married for 5 years. We lived in a beautiful house with a big backyard where we talked about maybe having kids someday. Our weekends were spent at church, hosting dinner parties for friends, or just enjoying each other's company. We looked like the perfect couple. We felt like the perfect couple. At least I thought we did. That Sunday morning started like any other. October in Austin was still warm, but pleasant. The church was packed, as it always was. Grace Community Church was one of those big, friendly places where everyone knew everyone. Pastor Williams was in the middle of his sermon about loyalty and forgiveness when it happened. Lauren and I were sitting near the front 4th row from the altar. I was holding her hand, half listening to the sermon, half thinking about the week ahead. I had a big presentation on Tuesday. Lauren seemed a bit tense, but I figured she was just tired. She had been working long hours lately, closing a few big sales. Then I heard movement behind us. Someone stood up abruptly. I turned around, curious. A woman I had never seen before was standing in the 4th row from the back. She had wild red curly hair, looked to be about 35, and her face was flushed bright red with anger. She wore simple jeans and a plain white t-shirt. Her hands were shaking. She raised one arm and pointed directly at Lauren. "Homewrecker!" she screamed. Her voice echoed through the entire church. "You destroyed my marriage." Everything stopped. The pastor stopped mid-sentence. Every head in the congregation turned. 200 pairs of eyes shifted between this woman and us. I felt Lauren's hand grip mine so tightly it hurt. I looked at her. She had gone completely pale. I stood up, confused and angry. Who was this woman? What was she talking about? 2 years. The woman continued, her voice breaking. 2 years she has been sleeping with my husband. 2 security guards, both large men in dark suits, started moving toward her from the sides of the church. Pastor Williams held up his hands, trying to calm everyone down. But the woman was not done. "Ryan," she shouted. "His name is Ryan, and she has been destroying my family." Ryan. The name meant nothing to me. I had no idea who she was talking about. I turned to Lauren, expecting her to be just as confused as I was. But what I saw made my stomach drop. Lauren was shaking. Tears were streaming down her face. She looked terrified. "Lauren," I whispered. She grabbed my arm. "I do not know her," she said quickly, her voice trembling. "I swear, Bryant, I do not know her." The security guards reached the woman and gently but firmly guided her toward the exit. She was still yelling, still pointing at Lauren, still saying Ryan's name over and over. The doors closed behind them, and the church fell into an uncomfortable silence. People were whispering, looking at us. I could feel dozens of eyes boring into us. Pastor Williams cleared his throat. "Let us take a moment to pray," he said, trying to restore some sense of normalcy. But it was too late. The damage was done. I sat down, pulling Lauren with me. She was crying softly, her head down. I wrapped my arm around her, trying to shield her from all the staring faces. My mind was racing. Who was that woman? Why would she accuse Lauren like that? It had to be a mistake. Some kind of horrible misunderstanding. After the service ended, several people approached us, their faces full of concern and curiosity. "Are you two okay?" they asked. "What was that about?" I told them all the same thing. "I have no idea. That woman must be confused or mentally unstable." But Lauren said nothing. She just stood there, pale and shaking, clutching my hand. We left as quickly as we could. The walk to the car felt like a mile. I could feel people watching us through the church windows. Lauren got into the passenger seat without a word. I started the engine and pulled out of the parking lot. Neither of us spoke for the first few minutes. Finally, I broke the silence. "Lauren, who was that?" "I do not know," she whispered, staring out the window. "She seemed pretty convinced she knew you." "I have never seen her before in my life, Bryant. I swear." I wanted to believe her. I needed to believe her. But something in her voice, something in the way she would not look at me, made a small seed of doubt plant itself in my mind. When we got home, Lauren went straight to the bedroom and locked the door. I heard her crying through the walls. I stood in the hallway, not sure what to do. Part of me wanted to break down the door and demand answers. But another part of me, the part that had loved and trusted this woman for 7 years, told me to give her space. She had just been humiliated in front of our entire church community. Of course she was upset. I went to the living room and sat down on the couch. My phone started buzzing. Text messages from friends at church. "Hey man, is Lauren okay? That was crazy. Do you know what happened?" I responded to a few of them, saying it was all a misunderstanding, that the woman was clearly unstable. But I could not shake the feeling that something was very, very wrong. The next morning was Monday. I had to go to work, but I did not want to leave Lauren alone. She came out of the bedroom around 7 in the morning, her eyes red and swollen. She said she was not feeling well and would stay home. I asked if she wanted me to stay with her, but she shook her head. "I just need some time alone," she said quietly. I kissed her forehead and left for work. All day I could not focus. My co-workers asked if I was okay. A few of them had heard about what happened at church. News travels fast in our community. I brushed it off, said everything was fine. I tried calling Lauren a few times during the day, but she did not pick up. I sent her text messages. "How are you feeling? Do you need anything?" She responded once, "I am okay, just resting." When I got home that evening, Lauren was on the phone in the kitchen. She was speaking in a low, tense voice. When she saw me, she quickly said, "I have to go," and hung up. "Who was that?" I asked. "Just a client," she said, not meeting my eyes. "Nothing important." "Lauren, can we talk about what happened yesterday?" "There is nothing to talk about, Bryant. That woman was insane. I do not know her. I do not know anyone named Ryan. Can we please just move on?" But I could not move on. That night, after Lauren went to bed, I sat in the dark living room with my laptop. I could not stop thinking about the name the woman had shouted. Ryan. She said Ryan was her husband. She said Lauren had been sleeping with him for 2 years. I opened Google and typed, Ryan Grace Community Church, Austin. It took a few minutes of searching, but I found him. Ryan Caldwell. He had a Facebook profile with limited privacy settings. His profile picture showed a tall, athletic man in his late 30s, with dark hair and a confident smile. He worked as a financial advisor. I clicked through his photos. There were several from a charity event at our church about a year ago. Ryan was in a few group shots, shaking hands with Pastor Williams posing with volunteers. And then I saw it. In the background of one photo, partially obscured by other people, was Lauren. She was smiling, holding a clipboard. She was standing close to Ryan. Too close. My heart started pounding. I scrolled further. Ryan's relationship status said, married to Diane Caldwell. I clicked on Diane's profile. She was the woman from church, the one with the red, curly hair. Her most recent post from 2 days ago said, sometimes the person you trust most is the one stabbing you in the back. I closed the laptop and sat there in the dark, feeling like the walls were closing in. Lauren had said she did not know Ryan, but she was in a photo with him at church. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe they had just met briefly at a volunteer event. But why had she lied about not knowing him? I went to bed, but could not sleep. Lauren was lying next to me, her back turned, breathing deeply. I stared at the ceiling, my mind racing with questions I was afraid to ask. The next day, Tuesday, I could not focus at work at all. I kept thinking about that photo, about the way Lauren had looked when that woman accused her, about the phone call she had ended so abruptly. Around lunchtime, I made a decision. I had to know. That evening when I got home, Lauren was in the shower. Her phone was sitting on the kitchen counter. I had never checked her phone before. In 5 years of marriage, I had never felt the need to. We trusted each other. At least I thought we did. I picked up the phone. It was locked with a passcode. I tried our wedding anniversary. Wrong. I tried her birthday. Wrong. I tried my birthday. Wrong. She had changed her passcode. Why would she do that? I put the phone back down just as I heard the shower turn off. A few minutes later, Lauren came out wrapped in a towel. She saw me standing in the kitchen and smiled, but it did not reach her eyes. "How was your day?" she asked. "Fine," I said. "Lauren, I need to ask you something." Her smile faded. "What?" "Do you know a man named Ryan Caldwell?" She froze. For just a second, her face went blank. Then she said, "What? Why are you asking me that?" "The woman at church. Her husband's name is Ryan. I looked him up online. He has been to our church before." Lauren's hands were shaking. "I might have met him once or twice through work. But that is it, Bryant. I barely know him." "Why did not you tell me that yesterday when I asked?" "Because I did not remember. Do you know how many people I meet through real estate? Hundreds." I wanted to believe her. But something in her eyes told me she was lying. "Lauren, please, just tell me the truth. Do you know him?" She exploded. "Are you seriously questioning me right now after everything I have been through? That psycho humiliated me in front of everyone, and now you are taking her side." "I am not taking anyone's side. I just want to understand." "There is nothing to understand." She was crying now. "I do not know Ryan Caldwell. That woman is delusional. And if you do not believe me, then maybe we have bigger problems than I thought." She stormed into the bedroom and slammed the door. I stood there feeling like a terrible husband. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe I was letting one crazy woman's accusations poison my mind. But I could not shake the feeling that Lauren was hiding something. That night, Lauren slept on the couch. She said she needed space. I lay in bed alone, staring at the ceiling, feeling the distance between us grow. The next morning, Wednesday, I got a call from my best friend Marcus. He asked if I wanted to grab lunch. I said yes. I needed to talk to someone. We met at a diner near my office. Marcus had been my friend since college. He was the kind of guy who always told you the truth, even when it hurt. "Man, I heard about what happened at church," he said after we ordered. "That was wild." "Yeah," I said, stirring my coffee. "It has been a rough couple of days." Marcus hesitated. "Bryant, I need to tell you something. And I was not sure if I should, but after what happened on Sunday, I think you need to know." My stomach dropped. "What is it?" "About 6 months ago, I was in a town about 30 miles outside Austin. I stopped at this little coffee shop called Preston Street Coffee House, and I saw Lauren there." "Okay," I said slowly. "She was with a guy. They were sitting really close, holding hands across the table. I thought maybe it was a relative or something, so I did not say anything. But now, after everything, I think that guy might have been Ryan." I felt like someone had punched me in the gut. "Are you sure it was Lauren?" "I am positive, man. I am really sorry." I could not breathe. I could not think. Marcus kept talking, but I could not hear him. All I could hear was the sound of my world crashing down around me. That evening I confronted Lauren. I told her what Marcus had seen. She denied it at first. "Marcus is wrong," she said. "He must have seen someone else." "Marcus knows you, Lauren. He would not make a mistake like that." "Then he is lying. I do not know why, but he is lying." "Stop lying to me," I shouted. "Just stop." Lauren stared at me, tears streaming down her face. But she said nothing. She just stood there, shaking. And then my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered it. "Mr. Bryant." It was a woman's voice. "This is Diane Caldwell. We need to talk. I have proof your wife has been sleeping with my husband for 2 years." I looked at Lauren. Her face had gone completely white. She knew. She knew everything was about to come out. "I will meet you," I said into the phone. "Tell me when and where." The next day, Thursday afternoon, I met Diane at a small coffee shop on the outskirts of Austin. It was far from anywhere Lauren or I usually went. Diane was already there when I arrived, sitting at a corner table with a laptop and a thick folder in front of her. She looked exhausted. Her eyes were red and swollen, her hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. "Thank you for meeting me," she said as I sat down. "I need to know the truth," I said. Diane nodded. She opened the folder and pulled out a stack of papers. "I have been married to Ryan for 12 years. We have 2 kids, a 9-year-old daughter and a 7-year-old son. About 2 years ago, Ryan started acting different. He was working late all the time, going on business trips that seemed unnecessary. He became distant, cold. I asked him if something was wrong, and he always said everything was fine. But I knew something was off." She slid a paper across the table. It was a bank statement. Highlighted charges showed hotel stays, expensive dinners, and a recurring charge for something called East Austin Corporate Rentals. "What is this?" I asked. "3 months ago, I hired a private investigator," Diane said. "I needed to know what Ryan was doing. The investigator followed him, took photos, got records, and what he found destroyed me." She opened her laptop and turned it toward me. On the screen were photographs. Ryan and Lauren walking into a hotel. Ryan and Lauren kissing in a parking lot. Ryan and Lauren holding hands at a restaurant I did not recognize. I felt sick. Diane pulled out more papers. "These are text messages the investigator recovered. Ryan had them on a separate phone, but the investigator has his ways." I read them. Messages between Ryan and Lauren. "I miss you. Cannot wait to see you tonight. He is traveling this weekend, come over. Every word was a knife in my chest. East Austin Corporate Rentals, Diane continued. That is an apartment Ryan rented under his company's name. He has been taking your wife there at least twice a week for the past 2 years. 2 years. 2 years of lies. 2 years of Lauren coming home and kissing me hello while she had been with another man. 2 years of sleeping next to her while she thought about him. Why are you showing me this? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Because you deserve to know, Diane said, and because I want them both to face consequences. Ryan is my husband. I am choosing to try to save my marriage for my kids. But Lauren, she is free to destroy herself, and I want to make sure everyone knows what kind of person she really is. I sat there for a long time, staring at the evidence in front of me. Photos, messages, receipts. It was all real, all true. Lauren had been cheating on me for 2 years. Thank you, I finally said. Can I have copies of these? Diane nodded. I made you a full set. Take them. Do whatever you need to do. I drove home in a daze. When I walked in the door, Lauren was in the kitchen cooking pasta. She turned and smiled at me. Hey, honey, I made your favorite. I thought we could have a nice dinner and talk things through. I did not say anything. I just walked to the table and dropped the folder on it. What is this? She asked. Open it. Her hands shook as she opened the folder. I watched her face as she looked through the photos, the messages, the receipts. She went pale. Her hand started trembling so badly that papers fell to the floor. Bryant, she started. Do not, I said. My voice was cold. Do not lie to me anymore. She sat down heavily, staring at the evidence. Tears started rolling down her cheeks. I am so sorry, she whispered. I am so sorry. How long? I demanded. Bryant. How long? Lauren. She looked up at me, her face crumpling. 2 years. 2 years! I felt rage boiling up inside me. I slammed my fist on the table. Lauren flinched. 2 years! I did not mean for it to happen, she sobbed. It just happened. You were always working, always traveling. I felt lonely. So this is my fault. I stepped closer. You are blaming me for your choice to cheat. No, it is mine. I made a terrible mistake. A mistake? I laughed bitterly. A mistake is forgetting to pay a bill. A mistake is showing up late. 2 years is not a mistake, Lauren. That is a choice. You chose him every single day for 2 years. She buried her face in her hands, sobbing. Did you love him? I asked. The question hurt to even say out loud. She did not answer. Look at me, I shouted. Did you love him? She looked up, tears streaming down her face. I do not know. Maybe. But I love you too, Bryant. I shook my head. You do not even know what love means. Love does not lie. Love does not betray. Love does not destroy. Please, she begged. Please, Bryant. We can work through this. We can go to counseling. We can— Did you bring him to our bed? I interrupted. Did you sleep with him in our bed? No, she said quickly. Never, I swear. Like your promises mean anything now. I turned away from her. I could not look at her anymore. Pack your things. You have 1 hour. What, Bryant, please? I said get out. I spun around and she flinched at the anger in my voice. You have 1 hour to pack whatever you can carry and leave. Where will I go? Call Ryan, I said coldly. I am sure he would love to have you. Oh, wait, he is trying to save his marriage. Guess you are not worth leaving his family for, are you? That hit her hard. She started crying even harder, but I felt no sympathy. She had made her choices. Now she could live with them. While Lauren packed, I made phone calls. First, I called a divorce lawyer I found online, Harold Peterson. His assistant said he could see me first thing Monday morning. I told him it was urgent. He agreed to talk to me briefly over the phone that night. Document everything, Harold advised. Get copies of all the evidence, change passwords, secure your finances. I did exactly that. I transferred money from our joint account into my personal account. I called our bank and explained the situation. They put a freeze on our joint credit cards. I took photos of every single piece of evidence Diane had given me. I uploaded them to a secure cloud storage. I emailed copies to Harold. An hour later, Lauren came out of the bedroom with 2 suitcases. Her eyes were red and swollen. She looked broken, but I felt nothing. No pity, no sadness, just cold, hard anger. "Bryant," she said quietly, "please, can we just talk about this?" "There is nothing left to talk about," I said. "You destroyed us. I made a mistake, but we can work through it. Couples do it all the time. We can go to therapy, we can—" "Work through this," I interrupted. "You lied to me every single day for 2 years. You looked me in the eyes and lied. You slept next to me and thought about him. You stood in church and pretended to be this perfect Christian woman while you were breaking your vows. There is no coming back from that." "Please do not do this," she whispered. I walked to the door and opened it. "Get out." She hesitated, then walked toward the door, dragging her suitcases behind her. At the threshold, she turned back one more time. "I really am sorry, Bryant. I know you do not believe me, but I am." I closed the door in her face. I stood there in the silent house for a long time. The house we had bought together. The house where we had made so many memories. The house that now felt empty and cold. I should have felt sad. I should have felt heartbroken. But all I felt was anger and a strange sense of relief. The truth was finally out. No more lies. No more pretending. The next morning, Friday, I woke up with a clear head and a plan. I was not going to let Lauren get away with what she had done. I was not going to let her play the victim. I was going to burn it all down. First, I called my parents. My mom answered. "Hi, honey. How are you?" "Mom, Dad," I said. "I need to tell you something. Lauren and I are getting divorced. She has been having an affair for 2 years." There was silence on the other end. Then my dad's voice. "Son, are you serious?" "I am serious. I have proof. She admitted it." My mom started crying. My dad said, "We are coming to Austin." "You do not have to." "We are coming," he said firmly. "You should not be alone right now." Next, I called Lauren's parents. Her father, Gerald, answered. "Bryant, is everything okay?" "No, Gerald, it is not. I am calling to let you know that Lauren and I are getting divorced. She has been cheating on me with a man named Ryan Caldwell for the past 2 years." "What?" He sounded shocked. "No, that cannot be right. Lauren would never." "Ask her yourself," I said. "I have proof. Photos, messages, everything. She admitted it to me last night. I just thought you should hear it from me before she tries to spin the story." I hung up before he could respond. Then I did something I never thought I would do. I posted on social media. Not the details, not the specifics, but enough. I wrote, "Sometimes the person you trust most is the one who betrays you. After 2 years of lies, I am choosing truth and moving forward. Thank you to everyone who has supported me through this difficult time." I did not name Lauren. I did not have to. Within an hour, dozens of people from our church community had commented and messaged me. They knew. They all knew what had happened on Sunday. They put 2 and 2 together. By the end of the day, Lauren's reputation was destroyed. People who had admired her, who had trusted her, who had called her a friend, now saw her for what she really was. A liar, a cheater, a hypocrite. Pastor Williams called me that evening. "Bryant, I am so sorry. I had no idea. The church leadership has decided that Lauren can no longer serve as volunteer coordinator. We cannot have someone in that position who has violated the sanctity of marriage." "I understand," I said. "Thank you, Pastor. If you need anything at all, we are here for you." That night I found Ryan Caldwell's phone number through a mutual contact. I called him. He answered on the third ring. "Hello." "Ryan Caldwell," I said. "Yes. Who is this?" "This is Bryant, Lauren's husband." He went silent. "I just wanted to call and let you know something," I continued. "You did not just destroy my marriage. You destroyed your own family. Your wife, your 2 kids, they deserved better than you, and so did I. I hope it was worth it." I hung up before he could respond. I did not need to hear his excuses or his apologies. I just needed him to know that his actions had consequences. I sat in my living room that night, surrounded by the remnants of the life Lauren and I had built together. Photos on the walls, her books on the shelves, her favorite blanket on the couch. I gathered all of it, every single thing that reminded me of her. I put it in boxes. I would drop it off at her parents' house the next day. I had burned it all down. The lies, the facade, the perfect image we had presented to the world. And in the ashes, I was going to rebuild something better. Something real. For the first time in weeks, I felt like I could breathe. The divorce was finalized 4 months later. Lauren did not fight it. She could not. The evidence against her was overwhelming. I kept the house because I had paid the majority of the mortgage. We split the other assets, but she got far less than she would have if she had not been unfaithful. Texas is not a no-fault divorce state. Adultery matters. And she paid the price for it. The first few months after she left were the hardest. I would wake up in the middle of the night reaching for her before remembering she was gone. I would come home from work and expect to see her in the kitchen. The house felt too big, too empty, too quiet. There were nights when I stayed awake until 3 or 4 in the morning replaying our entire relationship in my head, looking for signs I had missed. They were all there, of course. The late nights at work that were never really work. The business trips that did not make sense. The way she had started keeping her phone face down. The new passwords. The distance in her eyes. I blamed myself for a while. I should have seen it. I should have known. I should have asked more questions. But then I started seeing a therapist, Dr. Sandra Liu, and she helped me understand that this was not my fault. I could not control Lauren's choices. I could only control my own response. My parents came to stay with me for 2 weeks after the divorce was filed. They helped me pack up Lauren's remaining things, repaint the bedroom, rearrange furniture. My dad and I spent hours in the garage working on projects, not talking much, just being together. My mom cooked meals and made sure I ate. They reminded me that I was not alone. Marcus checked in on me almost daily. He and a few other friends from church started coming over on Friday nights. We would order pizza, watch sports, play video games. Normal guy stuff. They never pushed me to talk about Lauren unless I wanted to. They just showed up. That mattered more than they knew. Pastor Williams suggested I join a support group at church for people going through divorce. I resisted at first. I did not want to sit in a circle and share my feelings with strangers. But eventually I went. And it helped. Hearing other people's stories, knowing I was not the only one who had been betrayed, made me feel less isolated. Work became my refuge. I threw myself into my job. I volunteered for extra projects, worked late, traveled when opportunities came up. 6 months after the divorce, I was promoted to senior marketing manager. The raise came with more responsibility, but I welcomed it. I needed something to focus on besides the wreckage of my personal life. I started taking care of myself in ways I had not before. I joined a gym and went every morning before work. At first it was just about exhausting myself so I could sleep at night. But eventually it became something I enjoyed. I felt stronger. more in control. I signed up for a half marathon and trained for 3 months. The day I crossed that finish line, I felt like I had accomplished something that was entirely mine. Lauren had not been there. She had not cheated me out of that moment. It was just me and the road, and the satisfaction of pushing through pain. I joined a hiking group that met every Saturday. We would drive out to the hill country and spend the day on trails. The people in that group knew nothing about my past. They did not know about Lauren or Ryan or the humiliation at church. They just knew me as Bryant, the guy who liked hiking and terrible dad jokes. It was refreshing. 6 months after the divorce, I sold the house. I could not live there anymore. Too many ghosts. Too many memories. I bought a smaller condo closer to downtown Austin. It was modern, sleek, and entirely mine. I picked out every piece of furniture. I chose the paint colors. I hung art that I liked. For the first time in years, I felt like I was building a life that belonged to me and no one else. My sister Julia, who lived in Houston, started calling me every week. We had always been close, but the divorce brought us even closer. She would drive up to Austin once a month, and we would spend the day together. She never pitied me. She never treated me like I was broken. She just reminded me that I was her big brother, and she was proud of me for handling everything with dignity. About a year after the divorce, Marcus told me he had heard through the grapevine that Lauren and Ryan had broken up. Apparently, Ryan had decided to stay with Diane and work on their marriage. He had cut off all contact with Lauren. Lauren was left with nothing. She had lost her husband, her lover, her reputation, and a significant portion of her real estate clients. Word had spread in the community about what she had done, and people did not want to work with someone they could not trust. I wish I could say I felt satisfaction when I heard that. But I did not. I did not feel happy or vindicated. I just felt sad. Sad that she had destroyed her life for someone who did not even want her in the end. Sad that she had thrown away 5 years of marriage for 2 years of lies. Sad that she would have to live with the consequences of her choices for the rest of her life. But I had moved on. I was not angry anymore. I was not bitter. I had learned something important through all of this. Burning it all down was not about revenge. It was about refusing to live a lie. It was about choosing truth over comfort. It was about reclaiming my dignity. I learned that trust is not something you give blindly. It is something that has to be earned and maintained. And when someone breaks that trust so completely, so thoroughly, you do not owe them a second chance. You owe yourself the freedom to walk away. I learned that staying in a broken relationship does not make you strong. It makes you a prisoner. True strength is having the courage to leave even when it hurts, even when it is scary, even when you do not know what comes next. I learned that I am stronger than I thought. I survived something I never imagined I would have to face. I rebuilt my life from the ground up. And I did it without anger, without revenge, without losing myself in the process. Forgiveness came eventually, but not in the way people expect. I did not forgive Lauren because she deserved it or because she asked for it. I forgave her because I wanted to be free. Holding on to anger was like drinking poison and expecting her to die. I had to let it go for my own peace of mind. Forgiveness did not mean forgetting. It did not mean excusing what she did. It meant refusing to let the past control my future. 2 years after the divorce, I am living a life I never imagined. I have good friends. I have a job I am proud of. I have hobbies that fulfill me. I have a family that supports me. I have not started dating yet. I am not ready. Maybe someday. Maybe not. And that is okay. I am learning to be happy on my own. Sometimes people ask me if I regret how I handled everything, if I wish I had tried to work it out with Lauren. And my answer is always the same: no. She made her choice, I made mine, and I chose myself. That confrontation at church, the one that exposed everything, did not destroy my life. It saved me from living a lie. It gave me the truth I needed to set myself free. And for that, I am grateful. So if you are out there right now, holding on to someone who is destroying you from the inside, I want you to ask yourself something. What are you really afraid of losing? Because sometimes losing everything is the only way to find yourself. Sometimes the worst thing that happens to you becomes the best thing that could have happened. You just have to be brave enough to see it. Have you ever had to walk away from someone you loved because they betrayed your trust? How did you find the strength to move forward? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to hear your stories. And if this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and share it with someone who might need to hear it. Subscribe to the channel for more real-life stories about love loss and finding yourself again. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it helps you in some way. Stay strong, stay true to yourself, and remember that you deserve better than lies. Take care, and I will see you in the next one.